How did Apple become the world's most valuable company, and what were the reasons that led to its own founder being ousted from his company? In June 2023, Apple became the first publicly traded company to reach a valuation of $3 trillion. Apple's journey starts with Steve Jobs, born on February 24, 1955, in San Francisco. Steve was born before his biological parents were married, and at one point, they even considered abortion. Fortunately, his mother decided to give birth, and he was adopted by a family living in Mountain View, California, a place that was becoming the hub for electronics at the time. His adoptive father, Paul Jobs, ran a small electronics workshop, sparking Steve's early interest in electronics. In 1971, a man named Fernand introduced a 16-year-old Steve Jobs to a 21-year-old Steve Wozniak. With their mutual interest in technology, they quickly became friends, and by the end of the year, their friendship turned into a business partnership. At that time, a device called the Blue Box was used to make long-distance phone calls, which was quite popular in the US. Inspired by this, Steve Jobs built his own Blue Box and sold around 200 devices, earning $3,000 in total. This experience made them realize they could achieve something big together, Wozniak with his technical genius and Jobs with his unmatched marketing skills. On March 1, 1976, Wozniak showed Jobs an advanced computer that impressed him greatly. They tried to sell this design to HP, but the company rejected their idea, forcing them to return empty-handed. This was the moment when Jobs convinced Wozniak to start their own company. Just a month later, on April 1, 1976, Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and a third partner, Ronald Wayne, founded Apple. Their first product was the very machine that Wozniak had built, which they named the Apple I. Ronald Wayne, who had taken a 10% stake in the company, quickly sold his shares after just 2 weeks, fearing the risks of the business. If Wayne had kept his shares, today he would be worth around $100 billion. After initial struggles, Apple's sales began to increase, and in 1977, they launched the Apple II, which became a huge success. In 1980, Apple went public, raising $100 million. By 1983, Steve Jobs stepped down from his CEO position, handing the role to John Sculley. The following year, Apple launched its new computer, the Macintosh, positioning it as a competitor to IBM's dominant computers. Apple spent $1.5 million on an ad campaign during the Super Bowl, which was highly successful, boosting Macintosh sales. However, despite the initial success, many Macintosh computers were returned by customers in poor condition. This led Sculley to increase the price and change several policies, which Jobs strongly disagreed with. Over time, Macintosh sales declined, and the company failed to outperform IBM. Tensions between Steve Jobs and John Sculley grew, and eventually, Jobs was forced out of the company he had founded. Sculley continued to expand Apple by launching multiple new products, but within a decade, the company was struggling, even nearing closure. In 1997, the board of directors turned to Steve Jobs once again, and he rejoined the company. By 2000, Jobs was once again the CEO of Apple. He streamlined Apple's overly extensive product list, focusing on a few select products. In the coming years, the iMac made waves in the market, but that was just the beginning. In 2007, Steve Jobs introduced a product that would change the world forever and elevate Apple to its current level of dominance, the iPhone. The way Jobs presented the iPhone's features during the launch event is still considered one of the greatest lessons in marketing and entrepreneurship. Unfortunately, Apple's journey with Steve Jobs didn't last long. In October 2011, the world lost the marketing genius and visionary leader. Jobs' death sent shockwaves through Apple's investors, who feared that the company might falter. However, Steve Jobs' successor, the brilliant Tim Cook, took the reins, and under his leadership, Apple continued to thrive. Today, Apple is the world's largest public company with a $3 trillion market value. Apple's success can be attributed to its groundbreaking marketing strategies. Whether it was spending $1.5 million on a Super Bowl ad or positioning the Macintosh as IBM's competitor, Apple consistently ran successful marketing campaigns. Their ads may seem simple, but they tell a story that always connects with customers. The clean and simple design of Apple products also makes them stand out in the market. Even Apple's logo is minimalist, yet it gives the brand a unique identity. Apple doesn't just sell products, it sells an experience and happiness. From the packaging to the in-hand feel of their devices, Apple pays attention to every detail, which is why they've built such a strong community around their brand. When people buy Apple products, They're not just purchasing a device, they're entering an ecosystem and becoming part of a loyal fan base. Apple's ecosystem is so well developed that once someone starts using their products, they become deeply invested in the brand. Apple's fanbase lines up eagerly for each product launch, ready to buy. Over time, Apple introduces unique features that set its products apart in the market, such as facial recognition in the iPhone X and the satellite communication feature in the iPhone 14. Lastly, Apple doesn't just rely on selling its products through its website, it opens retail stores where customers can experience the products firsthand. Recently, Apple opened stores in India, and by 2025, it plans to open 3 more. Whether Apple's expansion in India will be successful remains to be seen, but the company's success story offers valuable business lessons. So, which Apple product do you own? Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video.